I'm going to bring Graham on now because I think Graham's got some sort of
Yeah.
positive, possible news and stuff that's going on ahead.
Well, firstly, a bit of context, Crispin and Aldery. On the first day after Palestine Action was prescribed, on the 5th of July, 29 people were arrested in London for holding signs. Now, those signs said, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action." The following Saturday, when I did it, there was over 70 people around the country, and then last week 100. Now, what's being proposed, and I'll try and put it in the chat, though these things are a bit above my pay grade, is that they're trying for August the 9th, somewhere in London, not being disclosed yet, where they're trying to get at least 500 people. And the whole point of this is to try to make the law inoperable. I mean, what Palestine Action has done is part of a resistance. Theirs is direct action. People around the PSC have mobilized hundreds of thousands on the streets regularly for the best part of 2 years. And there's those involved in the BDS movement who are trying to get organizations, councils to divest from Israel. Now, all of these are valid and justifiable. And in view of the scale of the horror that we see daily on our screens, I think there's going to be more and more of this. Now, side by side with the direct action, there's a judicial review going on, and this isn't an alternative to direct action. I think really do that the more that people make the law inoperable, the more likely it is that a legal challenge will follow. A legal challenge will be successful.
Right.
So, as far as I'm concerned, look, I'm in an easy position here. I'm retired. I've got no income apart from pension, no livelihood. I've got no childcare or aged parent care. And it was therefore relatively easy for me. I can't tell anyone what to do. But I just say this, it's not really, this kind of action isn't my style, as you probably realise. In the burrowing away in the Labour Party for 52 years, doing briefing, the magazine for 40 odd years. But I think this is one of the worst moments I've ever witnessed in my life, actually. And what makes it worse, I mean, another reason I did it, which impelled me to do it, is that I'm Jewish. I'm, as you may know, political officer of Jewish Voice for Labour. And I'm sick and tired of being told the lie that to be Jewish is to be Zionist and to support Palestine is to be anti-Semitic. It's a lie. And there's all the people, all the Jewish people in America and in this country around the Jewish bloc, JVL, and all of the others are playing an important role. And to deny that is utterly unacceptable. And finally, I just want to say this, that the JVL is itself doing an action on August the 5th. So hopefully all of these can combine together. We have got to be united on this, not direct action against lobbying. It's all part of a whole. And as far as I'm concerned, it's so important because what we're facing, as I say, is the most awful political experience. It's the first live streamed genocide in history, and we can't avoid it.
Now, just before you go, Graham, like yesterday, I believe that some of the right-wing press are really angry because there weren't any arrests yesterday in some places. I think Edinburgh and in Devon. Is is that a sign, do you think, that the police in some areas are just not taking this up? I mean, obviously they didn't, did take it up in Liverpool, but do you think there's a sign that this might not be working for a lot of places?
Yeah, I think it's important. Um, I, I think a number of people who are arrested, we thank God I don't live in Liverpool, but a number of people who are arrested will tell you that a lot of the police were pissed off, wasting their time on catching terrorists. Most of us kind of old codgers like me, I would say a lot of people, probably the majority were, although they were of all ages. And clearly we're not terrorists. I mean, the terror, let's be clear, is the state terror of Israel, supported by the state terror of the United States and the complicity of this wretched, wretched Labour government. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's all part of a whole. Yeah.
Well, look, thank you for coming on. And so August the 9th, people can find more on the Defend Our Juries website, I think. So, and there's a link there. Thank you, Graham.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you again. Now I've just seen a couple of people put their hands up. I'm interested to hear what they have to say, but you've only got a minute or two, minute or two at most. Marie, do you want to say something? I know you're from Merseyside as well.
Oh, thanks very much, Crispin. Thank you. And thanks to Audrey. It's your mate Mary here, as you know. And we're all disgusted and shocked at what happened. The point I'd like to make and thanks to Graham for the comments that he's made and the importance of actually doing something to, to support the actions that have been taken. But I want to raise is that I think we're letting the Labour Party off the hook. We're letting the trade unions off the hook here. I think that if you don't want to participate in the direct actions which has been taking place, you can actually contact your MP. Now, obviously, this legislation has been passed by a Labour government, which has already been highlighted that it's a disgraceful thing to think that a Labour government would introduce anti-terrorist legislation that targets, peace-loving, peace activists and so on. That one thing you can do, if you've got a Labour MP or if you ever got a Labour MP, write to your MP and say, is this what you actually voted for? I wrote to my MP, Paula Barker, who had voted for this legislation. And I said to her, are you seriously telling me that you voted in order to have mainly older people, has been pointed out, arrested like this and manhandled on the streets? This is absolutely disgraceful. The other thing I think we should take up is contact your union and say, are you sponsoring a Labour MP? And are you sponsoring a Labour MP who's supporting terrorist legislation? This is absolutely scandalous. And I think if there's nothing else you can do, I'm very reluctant to participate in any sort of direct action like that because of my age and medical issues and so on and so forth. But the one thing I can do is that I can actually put pressure on my MPs and I can put pressure on in my union. And I think that that's something that other people can take up as well. So thanks very much for those few minutes, Crispin. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. I might have time for you, Tony, if you've got to keep it short.
I always keep it short. Firstly, my solidarity to Graham and Audrey, and it's outrageous what's happened to Audrey. But I think we should have a sense of history. Laws can only be enforced when there is a consent, and when we withdraw that consent, the law just becomes inoperable, like the poll tax and other laws before it. I think the tide is turning. We saw that last weekend. Never mind the screams of the right-wing press. The police are beginning to realise there are more people to arrest than they can actually hold. My understanding of August the 9th is that 1,000 people have signed up to the protest. The Met are not going to be able to arrest 1,000. And if we have other actions in other parts of the country, then we will simply overwhelm them. And with a very simple message, the crime is genocide, not opposing genocide. And that was what this prescription was about. It was brought in by the most unpopular government in history. They had no mandate to do it, except from their friends in the Israeli government. And I think now is the time to turn the heat on them. And for all of us on August the 9th and before that, if JVL's doing something, then I'll join them, that we join together and together ensure that this law is quietly parked. And it may well be that Justice Chamberlain will read the runes and decide that the judicial review can go ahead. We will.
Can I just ask you, Tony, because Craig Murray's going to talk about the court case there with the Justice Chamberlain. I'm just wondering, you've been inside a few nicks. I'm not saying that you're a criminal or anything, but
No, of course not.
how many people can they fit in? How many cells do they have? If there's 1,000 people, how many can they
They
get?
don't have. They have about 600 in the whole of London. So
Right.
I assume what they would try to do is put more than one person in the cell. Usually, you're in a cell by yourself. It's an effectively solitary confinement. So people do find it quite disconcerting that they're completely cut off from anyone. It's kind of sensory deprivation, especially when you've never done it before. But I suspect they're going to have to double and triple up cells, because
That'd be
otherwise,
quite cozy then, wouldn't it? If you would you prefer that with a couple
oh
of
yeah,
other people?
absolutely. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'd even share a cell with Graham Bash, despite our historic antagonism. Yes.